Well, now we want to turn to something that has affected every single one of you watching, the price you pay for everyday essentials. We spent a lot of time on this show talking about the monthly inflation reports as they've come out and how quickly prices have been going up. Well, finally today, some optimism that maybe the worst is behind us. That monthly report from the Bureau of Labor Statistics for October shows that prices went up 7.7% compared to October a year ago. Now, on its face, that doesn't sound great, but the number was 8.2% in September, and it peaked at 9% back in July. You can see we've peaked and are now going down. This is giving economists some hope that the inflation that's been spiking ever since life started to get back to normal after the pandemic could be easing off at least a little. Now, there's a lot to discuss here, so we welcome back to the show Dr. Patrick Penfield, professor of supply chain management at Syracuse University's Whitman School of Management. He joins me now live. Professor, always great to talk with you. And, I want to say right up front, because there are going to be people who are watching who are saying 7.7% inflation is nothing to celebrate, and they are absolutely right. But I imagine you and other people who follow this closely look at trend lines here, right? What are we to make of the trend?
Yeah, hi, Michael. Thanks for having me on the show again. Yeah, it's exciting. And I think you can even tell just by what happened with the stock market. So I think a lot of people think that, hey, things are hopefully going to be trending down. And then, hopefully the worst is behind us. And I think that's what everybody is praying that'll happen.
Yeah, you mentioned the stock market there, up 1,200 points today is what the total ended up being. This report does break down inflation based on some areas of the country. I know that they do some specific metro areas, so you can see I think inflation is the highest right now in the Phoenix, Arizona area. We're not one of the metro areas that's there, but it is broken down by different regions of the country. And we were wondering here in the Northeast compared to other parts, what are we seeing and what is the difference there?
Yeah, I mean, it's very similar across the country. I think the three things that are really impacting New York State would be energy, food, and shelter. And those are the three big ones. Fuel is the one that concerns me the most in Western New York, and that's just because of, what's going to be happening in the winter months. I think the other thing that I'm concerned about that nobody's really talking about is the gas tax suspension, which ends for New York at the end of December, and then for Erie County in February. So you're going to see a 26-cent increase just from taxes, with what you're going to pay at the pump. And then again, if we have hopefully a warmer winter, that's going to be, again, something that's going to help everybody just from a fuel cost standpoint. So I think food will still be high, and then shelter seems to be high. And that's just because the home construction market's really been slowing down. And so, people that rent are probably going to be paying more.
Yeah, I think one of the really common questions we're going to start seeing reporters asking members of the state legislature and the governor will be any chance that that gas savings gets carried on past the end of this year, so that it doesn't just hit right as prices remain very high. We've seen these interest rate increases by the Federal Reserve, obviously trying to fight inflation. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the Wall Street responded today hoping that we're not going to see the type of huge increases that we've seen in the past, that maybe this is a sign that the Fed can ease back a little bit. Is that the right takeaway?
Yeah, absolutely. So here's what we're thinking is that there have been 6 interest rate increases by the Fed. We think there'll probably be another one December, probably be about a 0.5 percentage point. And then hopefully that'll be an indicator of, that we'll start to see more, inflation drop. The problem with the Fed interest rate increases is that there's a lag of about 6 to 9 months. So a lot of us think that, the interest rate increase that we saw in February, that might be what we saw here as far as the impact to inflation in October. So the hope is that, we'll start to continue to see this, and then eventually, hopefully the Fed will ease up on those interest rates.
Dr. Patrick Penfield, professor with Syracuse University. Always great to get your insight and perspective on this. I think this is the first time that we've been able to have a slightly optimistic conversation when it comes to the inflation question. So thank you.
Michael, you're welcome. Hey, listen, go Bills. And I'm also predicting that the Bills will win this weekend.
We like that prediction, no matter what. Patrick, thank you very much. Good to see you.